Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back. This is News and Views with me, Julie Ali, right here on Salam Media. And I really didn't believe that less than a month later, we're going to be talking to one of the relief agencies here in South Africa, and that is Al-Imdaad Foundation, to once again be talking about people affected by the recent flooding in KZN. We are joined by Brother Abed Karim to inform us of just exactly how dire the situation is down on the ground and what is it that Al-Imdaad is doing to assist all of those people that are in dire need. Brother Abed Karim, Assalamu alaikum, and nice to be talking with you, and obviously the amazing work as always by Al-Imdaad Foundation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sister Julia Ali, and to the listeners from a bright and sunny Durban, alhamdulillah.
Oh, alhamdulillah for that, and we hope and pray, inshallah, that the weather will hold out, because undoubtedly there has been lots more damage going forward. How bad has it been this time around when you compare it with what happened last month?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, we must thank Allah Rabbul Izzat for making it possible for us as civil society, NGOs, communities, and individuals who can come and assist our communities in times of need. We also make dua that Allah Ta'ala grant us beneficial rain that can benefit us as a community and not destructive rain. Having said that, we take the listeners back 30 days ago when this floods hit the Durban area. And let us just go back to the situation that was on the ground. Yes, there was great devastation, there was infrastructure and what have you. But what had come out here was very clear that many of the households, homes were, washed away, people had passed on, and our condolences to those families. Having said that, the NGO sector, civil society, and all of us got together and said, look, let us help out and assist these communities who are based in the halls. Now, as we talk this morning, we all know of the rains that took place over the weekend here in Durban. It compounded the situation. There are people who were at least getting a little bit back on their feet, because coming from a flood zone myself from Ladysmith, let me tell you, it is not easy to recover just in 30 days, because you got no beds, you got no shelter, you got no clothes, you're out of your home, you're not in your normal situation. You are housed in a hall. You are there for over 30 days. It is not the best situation to be in. However, what has happened now is that there are two needs on the ground at the moment. If you look at the Tongaat and Buffelsdale area, there's a huge cry for water because the infrastructure was damaged. So the Al-Imdaad Foundation, involved with many other NGOs, and it is very important to understand, Sister Judy Ali, that the working together of all our NGOs, working together with all our communities, the churches, the masjids, the temples, individual business have come on board. Different religious sectors have come, and only for one reason, is to assist in humanitarian need. And in the Tongaat area, the water need is still there, and this is the scenario at the moment. Over the last 2 weeks, the masjid in Mshlanga, headed by Brother Mukhtar and his team, we had taken the Al-Imdaad Foundation tankers, and we have placed it with the coordinating committee in Tongaat and with the Mshlanga Masjid, and they are distributing water to all the areas. Not only the Al-Imdaad Foundation, there are other NGOs, there are other businesses who have got huge tankers. So what they have done is, we as the Al-Imdaad Foundation had donated over 40 Jojo tanks to be placed in strategic points on the road. Because if you look at the situation 3 weeks back when we went, I want the listeners to place this in their mind. You are staying in a block of flats, you're coming down the flats 3 stories high, carrying your buckets, elderly, the sick, the children, coming to the tanker, carrying this water in your buckets and going up again. It is not an easy task. So the coordinating team, consisting of all the NGOs, you've got Muslims for Humanity, Caring Sisters Network, Human Aid, NMJ, Al-Imdaad Foundation, Gift of the Givers, Islamic Relief, Penny Appeal, all these NGOs, including the different, Mahasabha, you got all of them helping. And what I saw there on the ground is the coordination and the willingness to help our people in terms of water. So that program is still continuing in Tongat. There is still certain sections of Tongat haven't got water. It seems to be a long-term situation. Now let's come back to the Durban scenario when we had rains over the weekend. The Al-Imdaad Foundation is being coordinated by disaster management, and this is very important to understand. So if you coordinated in this fashion and working together, which we all are doing, and the names that I mentioned, all the Muslim NGOs, non-Muslim NGOs, the Hindu organizations, the Tamil organizations, all of us are doing a little bit and adding some value on the ground. So yesterday we were in Inanda, and we went to C-section to go and do distribution. What we found over there in Inanda, that there are many of them who have been affected again by the rains that came. Leave alone the infrastructure damages, the roads, the bridges. We've seen all that, which is also new ones have come about. Some of the places, the bridges have been washed away. Some of the places you had, damages to the road surfacing. And people have seen the pictures, they have seen the videos. But as the Al-Imdaad Foundation, being here on the ground for the last over 30 years from our Durban offices, we are coordinating our distribution in these halls. Now, let's understand the hall situation right now for the listeners out there. You are 30 days in the hall, you need soap, you need toothbrush, toothpaste. So we are now responding to that need of hygiene pack. Then your mattresses, your blankets. You're getting into winter now in Durban. So you need extra blankets, extra what you call mattresses and so forth. And food. This is something very, very important because you got in some halls 100 people, 150 people, some are 60, some are 70. I need you to work out and see you got children who need children food. You need cereals, you need diapers, you need all those things. So Alhamdulillah, we want to say that different NGOs are coming with different needs. The Al-Imdaad Foundation has gone in with the food situation and helping out where the need is. Likewise, is the other NGOs are doing so. But our concentration, Sister Julia Ali, is a lot in the rural, deep rural areas. Today, we are going out to an area which is about 40 some odd kilometers. And let's understand, it may not be flood damage, it be storm damage. There's a difference between flood damage and there's a difference between storm damage. Your rains can come, torrential rains can come and your houses can collapse. So that becomes part of your storm damage, and it fits in within the disaster mandate and the disaster framework that these people also need help. And being coordinated by the Metro Disaster, Provincial Disaster, and the District, the Al-Imdaad Foundation sits on the advisory forums. I can tell you that we are at 100% trying our best not to have duplications and to make sure that the right interventions are going to the persons who are affected by the flood, and that's important. So, Alhamdulillah, we want to say that to all the NGOs, we're working together, and this is not easy because some of them are finishing at 10 o'clock in the night, some are going early morning and going and helping the communities. So, having said that, we make dua that Allah Ta'ala make it easy for the communities. And as the Al-Imdaad Foundation, we are continuing with the water distribution. We have brought in 2 or 3 of our tankers into Belém and Tongat, and being coordinated from the Amshlanga Masjid and with the entire teams over there. And of course, not forgetting, in Tongat itself, Alhamdulillah, the community, the Muslim community also has got together and they're coordinating and they're working. You know, brothers are working till 2 and 3 in the morning, filling those Jojo tanks to make sure that the next morning when the community wakes up, they have water. May Allah reward all of them there in Tongat. And I've seen how these brothers are working. They finish their work, they close their shop, they are going out with our tankers, with Al-Imdaad tankers and private tankers, and going and filling those Jojo tanks just to make it easy for the community. We're not going to solve the problems, Sajjuli Ali, but what we can do is make our life a little bit more comfortable for our communities out there.
Inshallah, inshallah. I must commend you, Abed, brother Abed, that, as Al-Imdaad, you're not just sitting and blowing the trumpet for Al-Imdaad. You are so inclusive of all the other NGOs, NPOs, other religious bodies. I truly, truly commend you for that. That is a true Muslim talking there, and Alhamdulillah for that. And the fact that Al-Imdaad is willing to hold hands and work with other NGOs, regardless of color, race, creed, or religion. And only collectively, only by this stance, this collective effort can much be achieved. Alhamdulillah for that. Let me ask you this question. Do you think that from the last floods, all of the work that was being undertaken, that the recent rains have hampered progress on work being done. And let's look at the people that are housed in the halls currently. What do you know about possibly rehousing them in the new future in safer accommodation? Because being in the halls is not a long-term solution, it's just a short-term solution. Do you know any more about that situation?
You know, speaking to disaster management, Sister Julia Ali, they had mentioned they are in the process of trying to allocate land where they can rebuild structures, and it's a long-term, government protocols and red tape and everything. But from what we can see at Al-Imdaad Foundation and all the other NGOs, I said this yesterday also, you look at another 2 months or so to continue helping these flood victims. And government has to move very fast. Provincial government, national government has to move very fast and start arranging shelters for these families. Many of these families are staying with neighbors, staying with families, staying with cousins, in our interaction with them in the rural areas yesterday and last week. We went and we started speaking to the communities. Where are you staying? What are you doing? How are you managing? We are really in a situation where we have to stay with our families, we have to stay with our neighbors. So to answer your question, Sister Julia Ali, this now becomes a competency of government that has to act very fast and start getting land and start building the shelters for these families. How and when they're going to do it is your guess and my guess. You know that it is a very difficult one to say. But in the meantime, we have to continue and do what we call khidmat for these people. We have to do our humanitarian need, what our Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has taught us. Go and help people in times of need. And inshallah, who knows, so the barakat of this, Allah will protect us, and save us from all these destructions. That the efforts that we're all putting in, especially I want to say, and I want to acknowledge, the Muslim community has come out, not like the others haven't, but if you look on the ground, our people are there doing the work, and for only one reason, for the pleasure of Allah Rabbul Izzat. And I also want to say, our brother Yaqub Wahid, our founder, and our Ahmad Chauhan, our Amir, always said, in working together, there is no limit in what we all can do in striving to serve humanity. And it's called seva. Help people, do it for the pleasure.
Okay, I've just lost you there. I can see the picture, but I think we've lost. There you go. Let me ask you this final question very quickly. And that is, I know you come from Ladysmith, and the last time I spoke to you, we were talking about the devastation in Ladysmith. We saw pictures of how businesses were absolutely flooded, stocks were totally ruined, etc., etc. Are they okay for now? Is Ladysmith okay for now?
Jazakallah for bringing up Ladysmith. And Ladysmith has a history of flooding coming from the 1970s, and myself being in over 16 floods, I understand that pain. I understand the tears rolling down the eyes of our people here in Durban, and to feel that hopelessness and sleeping in the halls and sitting with so many 100 people in one hall. The Ladysmith scenario is a little bit better, but I must say that 3 weeks back, we had the same situation where all the CBD was, flooded. And the reason for that is very clear. The drainage systems need to be updated. The dredging of the rivers has to be sorted out, which I believe they're doing. When and how, only Allah knows best. But with regards to the intervention, Al-Imdaad is continuing. We've got a whole list of the families who need beds, who need fridges, who need, basic needs of their home. We saw it floating in water that's above my head. And the situation in Ladysmith, we are still continuing with the interventions. Like I said, Sister Judy Ali, when you're in a flood scenario, everything in your home is destroyed with water. I don't have to explain to the viewers what water does. And this is not just clean water, it's sewer water. It is napak water. And you imagine your meat, your clothes, your private documents, your everything is floating in water. What do you do? So the Ladysmith scenario has a little bit stabilized. Now it's winter. And we hope that the authorities start working on it, and I believe that they are starting, hopefully. But we, as the Al-Imdaad Foundation, whilst we are in Durban, our teams from head office are working in Ladysmith and assisting now in trying and giving these families beds, giving them blankets, giving them mattresses to get them back onto the situation. I know some of the homes, some of them are still sleeping on mattresses, and we have arranged now for beds and etc. that we are assisting these families in Ladysmith.
Inshallah, Ameen. Once again, commend Al-Imdaad. I commend you, Brother Abed. I have spoken with you in the past, and you guys are doing sterling work. Inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of your efforts. And let's just make dua that we don't find ourselves in a situation like this again anytime soon. Go well, and till the next time, Assalamu alaikum. Keep us in your duas, inshallah.
Wa alaikum salam. And like I said earlier on, I always quote our founder, Brother Yaqub Wahid, who always said, in working together, there's no limit in what we all can do in striving to serve humanity, and only do it for the pleasure of Allah. Don't do it to show, don't do it for anything, and Allah will be happy with us. And most importantly, when we as the Muslim Ummah come front and be the frontliners, inshallah, Allah will protect us from more disasters, inshallah. Jazakallah khair for having Al-Imdaad Foundation, and thank you so much.
Thumma Ameen. That was Brother Abed Karim talking to us about the sterling work being undertaken by Al-Imdaad Foundation and a whole host of other charitable organizations working truly hard in the KZN area, trying to bring some relief to the flood and storm hit families and communities. It is 10 after 9 o'clock. This is News and Views with me, Julie Ali, right here on Salam Media. Do stand by. Lots more stories coming your way this morning. And please, I'm still waiting to hear from you. Do become a part of this conversation. What's on your mind? What is it that's irking you? What do you think we should be doing differently here in South Africa to have better families, better communities, and a better society? Call in and let's have your thoughts.